One of the greatest show of all time is The Boondocks. I think anyone who has watched the show will agree with me. It's a goated show, no doubt. In 2020, it was rumored that The Boondocks would be returning back to TV in the fall of 2020. It never happened, but, I still want to rewatch the series just to be nostalgic of my childhood. And hey, while we were watching this series, I thought it would be fun to, dissect some of the characters. So let's get into it, shall we? The Boondocks was originally a comic strip written and drawn by Aaron McGruder.
I could pick out just by the bio on you that you was the typical race pimp who used the...
Due to the comic's success, it later became an animated TV series that premiered on Adult Swim in 2005. Aaron took social affairs and political topics occurring in the media and the Black community to make exaggerated satirical episodes. Nearly every character in the show betrays a stereotype in the Black community, but it's also not limited to other racial stereotypes to be portrayed. Huey was named after Huey P. Newton, the co-founder of the Black Panther Party, which pretty much sets the tone for Huey's character. He's an intelligent child who represents a Black, woke, radical, revolutionary archetype. Huey demonstrates that he's quite knowledgeable about political topics, religion, the African American culture, and society as a whole through conversation and criticism. Huey is able to grab the attention of the masses, but often what he says falls upon deaf ears. Not that many people in the show really pay him any attention to what he truly has to say, except, for Jasmine. Huey is also labeled as a domestic terrorist. I feel like he's given this title, due to current day politics. The FBI still considers people who have connections to the Black Power movement as threats to society. They're placed at a higher threat level than those who have links to the white supremacy groups. In the episode The Real, Huey claims to be the founder of 23 radical leftist organizations overall. Riley represents the youth and adults who are easily influenced by the trends popularized by hip-hop or Black pop culture, even if the trends aren't necessarily logical.
Are you there, urban youth? Why do you think R. Kelly is innocent?
If I started peeing on you right now, would you A, smile and ask for more, or B, move the hell out the way?
Riley is an easily impressionable child. I feel like in present times, due to social media, it's way worse for the younger generation to be led on so easily.
Well, now to the dangerous new viral trend making the rounds on TikTok. It's called the Skull Breaker Challenge, and 2 New Jersey students are now facing charges for doing it after seriously injuring another child. All the internet personalities who put on facades for internet clout, kids being led by these bad influences, or sometimes even putting themselves in harm's way due to trends are popularized by influencers or by trends that they see on social media. Although it was shown in one episode, I also feel like Riley was a representation of how kids like him have unlimited, unlocked artistic potential. But it's often overlooked due to their upbringing, their environment, them not being given the opportunity, their race, or simply them not being pushed in the right direction.
Hey, did you see that painting on the Franklin's house?
Yeah.
What you think? Nice, right? Not that I had anything to do with it.
Of course you didn't have anything to do with it. Stevie Wonder can see you didn't have anything to do with it.
I'm referencing to the episode of Riley Was Here, where it showcases a bit of his artistic ability. Jasmine Dubois is an accurate representation of more so a literal child compared to Huey. We can see the contrast in the characters between the two just based upon Jasmine's personality and decision making. For an example, during the episode of her having a lemonade stand where she was being exploited by Ed Wanster I in exchange for getting a pony.
Look at this. Why are all these backwards?
It's supposed to be cute.
You think ignorance is cute? Well, I suppose you think mental retardation is downright adorable. Lemonade, now. How is anyone supposed to believe you can make lemonade when you can't even spell it? How old are you? Too damn old to be writing your E's backwards, damn it.
Huey tried to expose Ed Wanster I's exploitation of her business to her, but sometimes as children do, they're a bit naive. And, she ignored his warning. And near the end of the episode, she finds out there was no pony and she was barely even making profit. Realistically speaking, I feel like there are more children like Jasmine and Riley compared to Huey. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I also feel like that Jasmine is a representation of biracial people who have identity crisis due to their parents not fully helping them identify with their multiracial background, and sometimes biracial children and adults denounce the other race that is less slaveable in their eyes based upon their environment's views, our society's view towards the race that they're mixed with. And then sometimes these children grow up and they make content like this.
First they say I'm too black, whoa. Now they say I'm too white, whoa. I'm just busy being me, babe. So screw it, I'm looking a zebra.
Man, what the fuck is you talking about?
What the fuck was that?
I'm sorry, man. I wasn't thinking about it.
Okay, enough with the zebra talk. Moving on, Granddad's character is more common amongst the older generation, as he's a representation of those who still uphold their older views. He's quick to grab his belt, as many people still believe a simple whooping will help a child act right. Whenever Huey does try to bring up politics with Granddad around, Granddad insists that Huey keeps things under wrap. For example, in an episode of The Garden Party, Granddad hits Huey about having the dream where Huey tells the truth to white people that causes them to riot. Granddad understands the complexities that the Black community has gone through, as he was alive during the Civil Rights Movement, but I feel like due to his age now, he just doesn't feel the need to be in an uproar about the social injustices and rather focus on living a normal life in the suburbs and enjoying his retirement. He also has a distaste for the younger generation's disrespect for the older generation, shown through the episode of The Story of the Magnificent.
Who's that Pokemon? It's...
Whoa, hold it right there.
Hey, man,
Where's the gun, huh? Where's the gun? Go on, get out of here. Go do your little hyphy-fifey dances and monkey shuffle somewhere else. This here bus is for kids with a future.
Although I really feel like I do not need to explain Uncle Ruckus's character, I will anyway, just because there are a lot of Uncle Ruckuses in the world still today. Amongst the Black community, he represents a large portion of African Americans who have been taught since childhood by family members and society to indulge in practices of self-hate and to spew their hatred for their race, their skin tone, their features, their hair texture, etc. amongst the Black community, no matter the age or gender or the victim that they'll verbally attack or in extreme cases even get physically violent with. You know, it's bad that we have to put up with racism in the world, but it's even harder to deal with inside of our homes, inside of our communities, where we thought we would be safe from such criticism. But due to the world's history, it seems that it will affect us mentally and physically to this day. Tom Dubois, or Mr. Dubois, represents those who say that they're for the community, but they're not, in my opinion. As you guys may know, Tom Dubois is an active member of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People and understands the struggles that African Americans go through. But, as Huey pointed out, Mr. Dubois is a part of the problem due to his profession. Tom Dubois is a prosecutor, and he works for the American justice system that isn't necessarily for African Americans in particular. It was shown in the episode of Uncle Ruckus being a pastor. He also came out and just flat out said that he is a self-hating Black man.
My God, he's right. I hate Usher too. What? He's right. I think I hate Black people. Tom, stop being stupid. No, I think I hate them all.
Alright, I think that speaks volumes for so many people who are like him, who are unable to identify with their Blackness or race in general. A lot of people are in denial and try to lie to themselves regarding this issue. In addition to all of that as well, it wasn't shown in the TV show, but it was rather shown in the comic panels. Tom Dubois complained to Huey about Jasmine not having straight hair, and how he tried to do everything to straighten it, even perm it, despite his daughter being part of a race that is known for having kinkier, coarser, beautiful hair that defies gravity. Edwin Smith I represents the privileged, rich, racist, greedy, capitalist, above the law American man in society who exploits situations and may even pull tricks out of their ass to make them more money. You know, I don't think there's not that much more to explain about his character. So let's move on to his grandson, all right? Ed Wanser III represents the rich, privileged men who are also seen as above the law due to his family's social status and wealth. He's also an ex-soldier that fought in the Middle East conflict war that I also believe contributes to this character being a little bit off his knockers. Ed Wanser III, along with Remy's character, portrays how white men in the United States who come from wealthy families are affiliates of wealthy, powerful people have clearance when it comes to the judicial system in America, as there have been many episodes showing Remy and Ed they're both domestic terrorists, all right? But whenever they're caught up in their schemes, they're shown as heroes and go unpunished. And, you know, typically their victims are seen as criminals. A prime example was when they tried to rob a damn convenience store, and they dubbed the man who owned the store as
obviously of terrorist descent.
Being that's their reasoning behind them trying to rob a store. And just to give a little insight into this particular scene, it depicts the U.S. conflict war with the Middle East, particularly Iraq, when George Bush II declared war, claiming that they have mass weapons of destruction. Ed represents George Bush, while Remy represents the soldiers carrying out their orders. The police officer, the one who didn't know what the hell was going on and was scared, he represents the general public. Huey represents those who truly understood the situation and was trying to convince the police officer, or in this scenario, the general public, that they don't have anything, but instead the U.S. or Ed and Remy are just trying to rob the area of its natural resources, which in this case was the store's items. Thugnificent represents the rappers who have a large influence over the youth, our general listeners, through their art. And Thugnificent also represents rappers and celebrities who suffer from financial illiteracy. In the later seasons, we see the fall of Thugnificent as he is no longer able to keep up with his luxurious lifestyle and just goes flat broke. Luna. If you guys don't remember her, Luna was the woman that Granddad met through MySpace, who later put off Granddad from wanting to have a relationship with her after she told him about her lifestyle and past. She later decided to stalk him after having a very, very toxic friend talk to her about delusional situations about Robert and encouraging her to do the crazy antics that eventually led to her death.
Hello? What was that noise? Anyway, like I said, girl, if a man ever said that to me, I'll kill myself. I mean, you're a stronger woman than me. Hello? Hello? A life without a man to take care of your ass ain't worth living.
Luna's character represents the individuals who were raised in an abusive household, where they were not shown what a steady foundation of what a relationship is. The parents were in a toxic, abusive relationship, verbally, physically, etc. This affects the child or children by having failure with their future relationships due to them having some type of trauma linked from growing up in a disruptive, toxic household. They may eventually even be emotionally immature to the point where it affects their romantic relationships and also their platonic relationships. This can lead to even becoming like a generational curse if the child does not seek out to get professional help to help heal and close the doors from their childhood.
My name is Dewey. Oh, ooh. Mama say mama side, mama Jenkins.
Nigga, what?
Dewey represents those Wake folk hotep people who think they're educated, but they're truly not.
Salami, eggs, and bacon. So, brother, where your poems at? Huh? How you gonna call yourself a revolutionary and you ain't got no poems? If you were really down with the struggle, you'd have your sandals and capris on, brother. Where your hair wrap? Where your sandals? Where your capri pants? What's going on?
That clip right there is so cute. If you guys didn't catch what he was trying to say Assalamu alaikum with the salami, eggs, and bacon. That's really adorable. Overall, The Boondocks was a great show that allowed us to further speculate and experience Black culture through a comedic perspective. If you haven't watched it or seen it in a while, I recommend you watching it again now that you're older and able to grab a hold of the things that you may have not been able to catch on as a child. Hey, my name's Alcia. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. This is what I'm currently watching. If you have any recommendations on any shows, movies, books, anime, anything, please recommend it to me in my comments or hit me up on Twitter. Hey, you might just see me react to it next.